A railway project. One of the most basic functions of Taiwan's government is to make sure that the express train, considered as the national modern symbol, runs on time. But the high-speed railway, which was planned 6 years ago, along with a huge bridge over the Jiangxi River, has many problems since the beginning. This railway project has a total capital of $12.8 billion, in which 76% of the capital is from the private sector. 24% is from government bonds. This is the biggest railway project in the world, which began in 2016, and, according to the schedule, it is expected to be completed by the end of 2022. This year is considered very important for the construction and fundraising for the project, for if there is not sufficient funds, it may take more than 5 years for accomplishment. The Taiwanese hope that the project will change the life on the island, improve the income of the people, and will be an example for the infrastructure development in the future. High Speed Rail Corporation is a private group which is seeking $1.34 billion for this year, and the corporation also asked for a loan of $9 billion from some Taiwanese banks for the next periods. In addition, next year the corporation hopes to get more capital from the foreign investors to finance the project by launching an advertising campaign worldwide, especially in Italy and Sweden. According to some reliable sources from the Ministry of Construction, the response of the foreign investors for the project depends on the Taiwan's future development and the confidence in the project. The government said that the railway will transport 126,000 passengers in the first years of operation, and it would be able to carry more than 380,000 passengers 5 years later. This electric train was made possible by the technical cooperation between Japan, Italy, and France, and estimated that the new train can reach a cruising speed of 300 kilometers per hour. The electric train can move from Taipei to Kaohsiung within 90 minutes, while it takes more than 5 hours by bus, and it is believed that the economy of the two cities would be dramatically changed. According to the Ministry of Construction sources, the express project will help save at least $1.2 billion for the government, including the extra costs of transportation and traffic accidents. One famous shareholder of the corporation told reporters last week that the project, when finished in 2022 as scheduled, would really change the face of Taiwan in general and in the two cities in particular. He also hoped that the project would stimulate the island's economy, which is suffering from slowing growth, high unemployment, and competition from China. Firstly, however, there are many problems with the project construction. The construction was delayed for a year before starting because of land clearance. Secondly, a European company last month filed a lawsuit which is believed to take several months for losing the bidding to supply technical equipment for the train system. Finally, many people also fear that the train will not only cause too much vibration that might affect the high-tech centers nearby, but also cause the construction noise harmful to the dairy farms in the region. Despite the above problems, the Rail Corporation's Board of Directors, in a recent press conference, promised to complete the project on time and asked for the government to assist and cope with these problems. The president of the corporation said if the Taiwanese government does not help much, it will be difficult for the project to be completed sooner, and of course it would cause some damage to the nation in terms of economic development. In China, thousands of people carrying banners went through the streets of a county in the southwest province. Some shouted slogans while others threw rocks at riot police, who tried to push back crowds and beat some with batons. Photographs show several people with bloody head injuries being cared for by paramedics. The residents organized violent demonstrations, burned vehicles, and attacked riot police for more than 8 hours, not to protest corruption or environmental pollution, but to demand that a high-speed rail line be built through their country. Though authorities attempted to control information surrounding the protest, the scale of the demonstrations made their efforts impossible. The demonstration began after a petition issued on May 16th, and one eyewitness told the Wall Street Journal that tens of thousands of people had poured into the streets and many businesses closed. Chinese government and media agencies have not provided an estimate of the size of the demonstration, and local police detained some Arabian reporting teams for hours, preventing them from reporting. Photos online show a lot of people crowded into a wide boulevard with slogans and bottles in hand. On May 17th, state news agency Xinhua reported the incident but appeared to downplay the scale of the demonstration. Staying into the early morning on May 17th, marchers carried signs that read, "Give us our railroad," and "Build high-speed rail." The incident quickly spread to the internet, with participants uploading photos and videos online, only to be deleted by censors. The protests is unusual in China, just because demonstrations are usually destroyed before they reach high proportions, and because it was pro-development. In recent years, demonstrations that do survive long enough to achieve their aims are often the so-called short-lived protests, different from those against chemical factories or other polluters that cause a direct environmental hazard to local residents. Protests have been particularly effective in relocating or preventing the construction of plants which produce harmful chemicals. For example, protests may bring about some benefits when finally the government approved the high-speed rail project that has been long awaited. China is now home to the longest high-speed rail network in the world, an ambitious 9,900-mile project that attracts criticism both at home and abroad. But as the government has continued to extend new rail lines throughout the country, and with no further crashes, Chinese have begun to hope for the economic opportunity brought by the new infrastructure. In Beijing, the Chinese government is taking one more step towards making airplanes obsolete with a new high-speed rail line. The railway is set to open late next month and will carry travellers from Shanghai to Kunming, covering the 2,300 kilometers in just 9 hours by travelling at 350 kilometers per hour. Currently, the only way to get from Shanghai to Kunming directly by traditional rail is on a hellishly slow train that takes 40 hours to make the journey. The Shanghai-Kunming high-speed rail line is already open in the big city of Quizhou, with the full ticket fare reported to be 700 to 750 yen. On its way to the west, it passes through major cities, and it is hoped that someday the line will extend down into Southeast Asia. According to newspapers, Kunming tourism authorities are expecting to see the number of tourists visiting the city to rise by 20% thanks to the new high-speed line. To encourage that growth, scenic areas and some hotels in the city will be discounted if you show a Shanghai to Kunming high-speed rail ticket in the month after the new railway opens. The new line is just the latest part in China's master plan to cover the Earth's surface in high-speed train tracks. Currently, China leads the world with over 20,000 kilometers of high-speed tracks. That is projected to expand to 30,000 kilometers by 2020, and then grow to 45,000 kilometers by 2030. China started operating one of the world's longest high-speed railways that links the country's prosperous eastern coast to the less developed southwestern part of the country. The launch of the Shanghai-Kunming line means the country's high-speed rail grid has taken shape, connecting almost all provinces on the Chinese mainland. This success also gives China a better hope in marketing its bullet train technology in different countries, including India.